So, war criminal Antony Blinken has arrived in Israel for the 9th time since October the 7th. He said he was in Israel to pull off what he said was a ceasefire and to ensure there was no regional escalation, as if he truly cares about peace in the region. But anyway, that's what he said. But he also said in the same sentence that America had sent its warships to help Israel. So he wants to achieve peace in the region by sending more and more warships to help Israel. That's American logic for you. And who is Israel? Israel is a rogue nation which has been killing 60 Palestinian children and 6 Palestinian babies every day. Don't take it lightly. 60 children and 6 babies every single day are being brutally murdered by the rogue regime of Israel, whose backer is Antony Blinken. Israel can also be described as a failed country which violated international laws to invade 2 sovereign nations, namely Lebanon and Iran, to carry out illegal assassinations. That's the Israel this war criminal Blinken said his government wanted to protect. Blinken also said, and you will hear him shortly, that this was perhaps the last chance to secure the release of all hostages. He's so concerned about 100 plus hostages, but not concerned about 40,000 innocent Palestinians being massacred and 60 children and 6 babies being killed every single day. And he also mourned the death of one Israeli, just one Israeli in the occupied West Bank in the last 24 hours.
Well, Mr. President, thank you very much. It's always good to be with you and good to be back in Israel. This is my 9th visit since October 7th to Israel, to the Middle East. And this is a decisive moment, probably the best, maybe the last opportunity to get the hostages home, to get a ceasefire, and to put everyone on a better path to enduring peace and security. I'm here as part of an intensive diplomatic effort on President Biden's instructions to try to get this agreement to the line and ultimately over the line. It is time for it to get done. It's also time to make sure that no one takes any steps that could derail this process. And so we're working to make sure that there is no escalation, that there are no provocations, that there are no actions that in any way could move us away from getting this deal over the line, or, for that matter, escalating the conflict to other places and to greater intensity. I know this is a fraught moment in Israel, with deep concern about the possibility of attacks coming from Iran, coming from Hezbollah, and other sources. And as you heard the President say, the United States has taken decisive action to deploy forces here to deter any attacks, and if necessary, to defend against any attacks. But the focus of my visit is intensely on getting the hostages back, getting the ceasefire done. It is time for everyone to get to yes and to not look for any excuses to say no. I look forward to the day ahead, seeing the Prime Minister, the Defense Minister, other senior officials, but it's always a pleasure to start the day with you. And let me say finally that we mourn the losses that the President has just shared over the last 24 hours.
His last sentence on mourning the loss of one Israeli in the occupied West Bank was in response to this.
In the last 24 hours, we've witnessed ongoing terror attacks by Palestinian terrorists. We have suffered the loss of Gideon Perry, a 38-year-old father of 3, husband, a lover of music, who went to work in a plant, and one of his pals in the working place decided to murder him simply because he's a Jew and an Israeli. A very great tragedy. Last night we've witnessed a suspected major terror attack in Tel Aviv, which is under investigation with a possible suicide bomber. And this morning our soldiers have been attacked in Yara. Yara is on the border with Lebanon by Hezbollah terrorists with drones, and there are There is information that we have suffered possible casualties. We are under review of this. And this is the way we are living these days. We are surrounded by terror from four corners of the earth, and we are fighting back as a resilient and strong nation.
Both war criminals, Israeli President and Blinken, felt heartbroken about the death of one Israeli in the occupied West Bank. But did you hear them mourn the losses of Palestinians in the same occupied West Bank, where Israeli terrorists had set Palestinian homes and cars on fire and killed a Palestinian, a 23-year-old Rashid Sadda? Did Blinken condemn the action of Israeli terrorists in the occupied West Bank, where there is no Hamas? Did he mourn the Palestinian losses in Gaza, where at least 66 babies and children may have been murdered by Israeli terrorists since he arrived in Israel? Did he condemn Israel for chasing a group of journalists and firing at them indiscriminately whilst he was in Israel, just because they were doing their job with full integrity? A woman journalist in particular has sustained serious injuries after she was shot in her back. Does Blinken not know that Israel is capable of not killing a single innocent civilian if it so desired? That's because America has provided precision-guided weapons to the terrorist country. Does it not occur to anyone that Israel carried out precision-guided attacks to kill Hezbollah commander in Beirut and Ismail Haniya in Tehran without killing anyone else there? Israel has details and maps of every single house and tent of Gaza. But even Blinken knows that the real aim is to erase Gaza from the map with a sustained genocidal campaign, helped by the US, the UK, the EU, Canada, and Australia, to name a few. That's why I have chosen to call Blinken a war criminal. He is no longer complicit. He is a willful participant, just like the other members of Biden administration and Blinken's Canadian, European, and Australian counterparts. There are indications that if Kamala Harris gets elected this November, she may not want to continue with war criminals such as Blinken and Lloyd Austin. Not that I'm a big fan of Kamala Harris, but this will indeed be a welcome step if indeed this happens. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so, because that's one of the many ways you can support independent journalism. And please find the details of my Buy Me Coffee page in the description of this video. Your continuous support is absolutely key to keep this fearless journalism alive. God bless you all.